Big first. Really, really big first. The first openly transgender figure skater has just appeared at the European Figure Skating Championships in Espoo, Finland. This is Minna-Maria Antikainen, a Finnish skater who's an older man dressed up as a woman, skating around, not the most gracefully, but he's sort of skating and then he falls down. And then he falls on the ice and he can't stand up. And so then the Finnish people with the flag come out and try to help him stand up. And the craziest part of this whole display is that we're not allowed to acknowledge it. I mean, on this show we do, but in the culture, you're not. If you're sitting there in that audience, you can't hear it on any of the clips that I've seen, and I'm sure you couldn't hear it in the audience. You're not allowed to say, "Oh, this is weird. This is funny. This is obviously absurd." No, we all have to just sit there and pretend, "Oh, yes, she's so beautiful." These poor little girls who were on the track teams with all the confused men, or on the Penn swimming team with that hulk of a man who took all their trophies. And then what do the girls have to do? On camera, they have to smile. They have to plaster a smile. And they say, "This is really great. She is so beautiful. We love being on her team." And then privately, of course, when they're speaking to journalists and they can remain anonymous, they say, "This is terrible. We don't want some guy getting naked in our locker room and taking our trophies and taking our scholarships, and this is deeply unjust." But then when the cameras come out, they say, "You are beautiful, Caitlin and Dylan." I don't know what Dylan's new lady name is going to be. I guess Dylan's kind of androgynous. "You are beautiful, Minna-Maria Finnish. You're the greatest skater I've ever seen. You're a regular Tanya Harding." In totalitarian countries, one of the things that we marvel at is that the people are forced to perform lies all the time. When Kim Jong-il died, and you had major parades all throughout North Korea to honor the death of the great leader, you saw those cameras and all these North Koreans. Perhaps some were moved seriously by sympathy. I kind of doubt a lot of it, though. For many of them, they were performing it because there were guns pointed at them. And they knew that if they didn't cry enough over the death of dear leader, they could be tortured, they could be killed, their family could be killed. Everybody has to lie. This is true in Stalin's Russia, in the Soviet Union. This is true in China. And this is now true in the West. We are forced to lie too, because our government is increasingly totalitarian. It's a total state. It comprises everything. If you in your HR meeting don't affirm that some hulking, hairy dude wearing a dress and stilettos and with lipstick smeared on his face is actually a beautiful woman, you could be fired, and you probably will be fired. And once you're fired for that, you're going to have a hard time getting more employment. And you're going to be a pariah in your society. We say, terrible when North Korea does that. Terrible. And so the good thing we live in America, the land of the free and the home of totalitarian delusion. Every day, more and more so. But love is love, right? Love is love. You do you. Trans women are women. Everybody's whatever they want to be. Okay, if love is love, then I got a question about a story that just came out. Right now, text Knowles to 989898. The current administration's New Year's goals are to tax, spend, and turn a blind eye to inflation. If this is at odds with your goals, you're tired of the government playing games with your savings and your retirement plan, then you need to get in touch with the experts at Birch Gold today. For over 5,000 years, gold has withstood inflation, geopolitical turmoil, stock market crashes. Now you can own gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Text Knowles, KNWLES, to 989898 to claim your free info kit on gold and then talk to one of their precious metals specialists. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, and countless 5-star reviews, you can trust Birch Gold to help protect your savings. Text Knowles, KNWLES, to 989898 and protect yourself with gold today. That is Knowles, KNWLES, to 989898 today. You can thank me later. Story out of ABC News. A couple of hosts for Good Morning America 3 were just fired because they had an affair. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. I've never watched this show. I didn't know there was such a thing as Good Morning America 3. But they were hosts of it, and they just got fired because they were both married, and then they had a consensual affair, and then this came to light. And it's not as though one person accused the other of sexual harassment or anything like that. They were both married, but they had a consensual affair, and now they're canned. Why is that wrong? I know why it's wrong. Because marriage is an indissoluble bond between a husband and a wife for the good of the spouses and the sake of the generation and education of children. I know that it's wrong because spouses take a vow before God and before the political community to remain with one another through thick and thin, good times and bad, sickness and health. Right? And that's wrong to break. But that's not what the modern culture believes. The modern culture believes that marriage is nothing but a kind of meaningless sheet of paper, and we can leave our spouses for whatever reason we want, and that's called a no-fault divorce. And there's nothing wrong with polyamory, polygamy, there's nothing wrong with any of these arrangements. Love is love. Love is love. That's the whole argument for redefining marriage, is that the affection between two men and the affection between two women is the same as marriage, the affection and then institution that desire leads toward in the institution of marriage. That's all the same. Okay, well, if love is love, if all shades of love and affection are exactly the same, then why don't they get to have it was consensual. Yeah, it wasn't so nice to their spouses, but so what? We don't really give much credence to marriage vows anymore. Why is this wrong? Because if we know that this is wrong, then what we're really saying is that TJ Holmes and Amy Robach should have repressed their romantic desire for each other. They should have denied the love that they felt for one another. They should have pushed it way, way deep down because they had other obligations, because the moral order demanded more of them than that they follow their love for one another to its physical conclusion. But if that's the case, then isn't that just the case? Then isn't that just how it is? And shouldn't we apply that to all sorts of other manner of love as well? No, a little bit confusing. Love is love, except for Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. They don't get to have their love, but all sorts of other people, all sorts of weird polyamorous people with 3 guys and 2 women and a billy goat. That's fine. That's love. That's wonderful. How dare you judge that? But Amy Robach and TJ Holmes get fired for a consensual affair. That's really weird. It's also really weird because Amy Robach, I actually had forgotten this until producer Danny reminded me of this today. Amy Robach, you may have heard of her because she was caught on a hidden mic discussing how she wanted to pursue the Jeffrey Epstein story at ABC, and the producers and the executives shut her down. And she knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a real story, when she knew that this involved a lot of corruption. She wanted to run the story, and the higher-ups at the network said, nope, don't talk about that. So that adds another layer to this, where I think, it's so weird how people who transgress the powerful liberal elites, people who contradict them or who get on the wrong side of them, they end up in a sex scandal and their career goes away and then they bury them. Not all that long after they raise these problems. Really weird. Obviously, what they did is terribly wrong, and they should repent of it and go to confession and try to make up with their spouses and try to keep their families together. There's a lot more to this story, though. It seems like there's a lot more to this story, both as a cultural matter and even as a particular political matter with regard to Mr. Epstein, who may or probably did not kill himself, than meets the eye. If you are not a Daily Wire member, what is wrong with you? Head on over, dailywire.com/Knowles. Use promo code Knowles at checkout. You get 2 months free on all annual plans, and I will get to chat with you in the member block.